Good evening, everyone. I'm Bill Budzinski from the Elusive Grape in historic downtown DeLand, and welcome to a virtual wine tasting. I'll be leaving my mask on this evening, and I'll try to talk a little bit louder so you can understand me, but we are in a closed room, and I want everyone in here to be safe. What you have in front of you right now, I hope, is a different selection of wines and cheeses that we've picked out for you to try this evening that you wouldn't normally find or that you might not normally get for yourself. So what I'd like to do is tell you a little bit about the wine, tell you a little bit about the cheese, and then let you enjoy it. So we'll start with the very first wine, which should be chilled, is a 2017 Type Marsanne. This is based on a Rhone-style wine from southern France with the Marsanne grape and Roussanne. It generally pairs very well with creamy, earthy cheeses from the region. So what we've done is we have, from Vermont, a Ashbrook from the Springbrook Farms that is made to imitate, or an ode to, the French Morbier, which is made with raw cow's milk cheese. It's aged for up to 3 months with a washed rind, so it's semi-firm, and it has a vegetable ash that runs through the center of it. Adds a little bit of a mushroomy type flavor to it, which pairs very well with the tanginess and the acidity in this white wine. So again, generally speaking, the Marsanne is blended with a Roussanne, and it's called an Hermitage from the northern Rhone region. This is 75% Marsanne, 25% Roussanne, and one of the few white wines that can age for a good extended period of time. You can probably get up to 8 to 10 years out of this wine, and it'll continue to get better. It doesn't mean it's not good to drink young. This is a 2017, so we've got 3 years of bottle age in it. It just means that in several years, the characteristics of it will change. I think it'll become more food friendly. I think we're in a good spot with it right now with what you're going to be trying. But it's certainly worth buying, laying down, and revisiting over a period of time. So again, the Marsanne Roussanne, when they're combined, can have the same characteristics as a Chardonnay, especially an oak-aged Chardonnay. In fact, many times it's mistaken for that, but the acidity in it, after you've tasted it, which I hope you will now, it's got a little pungency to it, and a lot of acidity, and that's what the side of your tongue is telling you right now, that it's got a lot of high acidity. Now try it with the cheese. And hopefully you'll see the marriage of the vegetal funkiness of the cheese goes really well with the creaminess and the acidity of the wine. So I hope you enjoy that and experiment. And before we move on to the next wine, you have enough in front of you that you don't need to eat and drink all of the wine while I'm talking to you, because you can always come back and revisit it with other wines. Every one of these, for the most part, will pair well with the wines and the cheeses that you have in front of you. So keep trying different things, but we'll just walk through them one by one, and then you can just have at it. The next one. All right, so what we've got first is the Copper Series from Tempest 2 in Barossa Valley, Australia. It's a GSM, which stands for Grenache, Shiraz, Mourvedre. And this is also based, it's a Australian wine, but it's based on a Rhone Valley blend that you would normally find in the northern Rhone. Mostly a Syrah base, but then they'll add the Grenache and the Mourvedre to add body and flavor to it. Sometimes they'll even add Roussanne or Marsanne into it as well. But what we've done is, this is from the Barossa Valley region of Australia, and I wanted to pair it with something, again, very similar to what you would find in the Rhone region, but coming from a different area of the country, obviously. So what we have, this cheese in front of you is a provolone picante. So it's an extra aged, sharp provolone cheese. All right, so generally speaking, there are two types of provolone that come from Italy. You've got the dolce and the picante. This is a picante. What you'll get most of the time in the U.S., if it doesn't say extra age or sharp, is more of a creamy style, softer in texture, easier to melt. This is a semi-firm cheese with a lot of pungency to it. You can probably smell it right now. You probably smelled it when you opened up the cheese box because it has a very distinctive flavor that goes, odor, sorry, that goes very, very well with big red wines. Now, it also goes very well with champagne. It goes very well with meads, hard ciders. Basically, it goes well with anything with alcohol in it. So if you start at that level, you'll be okay. But let's try it with the red wine first. So this is a 2014 Tempest 2 copper, like I said, GSM. You'll notice in your own glass that it has a very light body to it. And that's because the Syrah, although a heavy grape, is blended with the Mourvedre and the Grenache, which both tend to be a little bit lighter in body, but offer a lot more for the aromatics and the style of the wine. So try the cheese first, and you're going to see how tart it is, how sharp it is. It'll grab your mouth and not let go. But try that first, and now take a sip of the wine. Changes entirely. So hopefully you'll enjoy that match. But again, this red wine can be, it can go with anything on this plate, especially the truffles at the end. So save some to the end and try it with a little bit of everything. All right, moving on to our third wine, we have a Cabernet from Washington State, the Tamarick Cellars from Columbia Valley. You'll notice right away that between these two wines, this is much darker, a little fuller, and a lot more purple. And again, that goes back to what I was saying earlier about the blended wines. A Syrah will probably have more of a characteristic like this, 100% Syrah or Shiraz, closer to what the color of the Cabernet is going to be. But by adding the Mourvedre and the Grenache, it's added a lot more body or a lot more aromatics to the wine, but it's lightened the body. So back to the Cabernet. What we're pairing it with is a unique wine or a unique cut of meat from the United States. It's actually from Iowa, from La Corsia, and they use a Berkshire heritage pig, which is what they use in Italy to make their meats also. The sweetness and the saltiness that come from the fat and the meat pair very well with red wine, but it also goes well with any of the whites. Champagne, especially well with bubbly. Not necessarily the one we're going to be trying today, that's a little bit sweeter, but in front of you, if you've tasted the meat, try the wine, see how they pair together, but now get the meat and add it with your provolone. Try it with the Ashbrook. Try it with different things. You'll see it changes the body of the texture of the cheeses. It marries well with them, but it also changes the flavor and enhances the flavor of the wine. So again, I encourage you to mix these up a little bit. Don't just stick to what I'm telling you or what we're talking about. Try some different things. Maybe not with the chocolate, but it's worth a shot. We'll get onto that one next. But again, experiment with it. If you have other cheeses or anything, try these mixed with those so you get an idea of a good comparison. Because again, we try to get you some cheeses that aren't necessarily your everyday finds. with that, we'll move on to our fourth wine. And with this, let me get this out of the way. All right, so what we have here is Rosada Brachetto d'Acqui from Piedmont, Italy. So the description's on your paper, you can see it. This is a native grape to the region. It is macerated and vinted like you would a regular wine, and then it's stopped in the cold maturation to where it's a frizzante stop. So it's bubbly for sure, or at least I hope it's still bubbly in your glass. Regardless, the flavor is going to be fine. So this is meant to be served with chocolate. It's literally why they invented that, I think. I don't know. I might be making that up, but it goes very, very well with it. And what you have in front of you is a true Belgian truffle dusted with cocoa powder. If you still have any left, you'll notice immediately how creamy, how thick, and I'll say luscious the chocolate is. I think it's one of the best examples of a Belgian truffle that I've ever had. Tried with this sweet wine, I think you'll see why they are meant to be together. Now, this wine can traditionally be served with barbecue. Anything that's sweet and spicy, this wine will complement. So if you've got Asian food, if you've got spicier dishes, this will help. It's semi-sweet. It's not cloyingly sweet. It's not Andre, Pink Duck, or whatever, or Strawberry Hill, Boone's Farm. It is a naturally sweet wine, frizzante style. It can be served as an aperitif or again with dessert. And maybe not necessarily with the sharper cheeses will it go well, but with a creamy brie or a goat cheese, a creamy goat, it'll pair nicely. Just think of sweet and spicy and take it from there. Now, if you still have chocolate left, having the chocolate with any of these three wines is absolutely beautiful, especially with the Cabernet. One of my favorite things to do is a big red wine with big dark chocolate. The best dessert you can have outside of a cheese platter, of course. So. All right, well, thank you again very much for joining us. I look forward to getting together with all of you, hopefully in the very near future, maskless, gloveless, and in a safe manner. Until then, if you would like to purchase any of these wines or the cheeses that we've talked about, we have them available at the Elusive Grape. What we did today, though, is we chose some vintages that were a little bit older because we thought they would be a better expression so that you can see what the true flavor is going to be. Some of these aren't going to be current vintages when you come in, but these are all wines that we do carry. We have them all right now, but we will sell out eventually. But these are 4 brands that we try to keep in stock. So please come down anytime. Our cheese menu, all of these and the meats and the chocolates are available seasonally. They change, but we continually update our cheese list, our wine list to have different products offered. Thank you again. Have a great night.